Alberta Premier Redford sat down for coffee with the Edmonton Sun to talk about what the provincial government's priorities will be in the upcoming legislative session. The Premier spoke about the speech from the throne, upcoming legislation, and the 2014 budget.
Next week is going to be a lot more exciting once we get into the legislative session. Speech from the throne, budget, all the ideas are coming out. I was wondering just now if we could talk about the speech from the throne. Usually that's where government sets priorities and kind of gives Albertans an idea of what to expect from the government this year. Well, I guess what can you tell me about what Albertans can expect?
Well, I won't go into a lot of specifics, but what I will tell you that I hope that we achieve is to really communicate with Albertans about what we've been able to accomplish in terms of the commitments that we made to Albertans 2 years ago. You know, I was very honored to be elected Premier by the people of Alberta 2 years ago. And at that time, we talked about a lot of change. And we talked about delivering on things like healthcare facilities, schools, roads, and changing the way government does business. You know, results-based budgeting, where we take a look at programs, 375 programs to date. That's all work that we want to talk to Albertans about that's been accomplished. And so part of what I hope we'll be able to accomplish with Albertans is to talk about some of that, because we've had an incredible opportunity as government in the last 2 years to fix a lot of things that needed to be fixed. And frankly, for 2 years have taken a lot of criticism for things that previous governments did. But that's okay. We fixed those things. And now we get to talk about what comes next to make Alberta greater.
I think one of those things you might agree that was raised this year was the child death review system and some of that kind of stuff. That, as well as Minister Horner's pension reform, are a couple of things we kind of know that are going to come in this upcoming session. Could you give me an indication of maybe how soon we'll see either of those two things that we already know are coming?
Well, both ministers have been very clear and have made a commitment to Albertans that we're going to take those steps immediately, because there has been a lot of consultation done with respect to the pension reform. You know, Minister Horn originally went out on the pension reform piece, I think almost 18 months ago. And so there's been a lot of good work done, and we're ready to move ahead on that. On the really unfortunate circumstances around the child welfare system and the difficulties that we've had with that system, the work that happened in January was really important in terms of listening to people that know the system, who are experts from other places, about how to make the system better.
March 6th.
March 6th.
The budget's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Last year we saw a very tough budget. The bitumen bubble put a bit of a squeeze on the government. We saw some you guys making tough decisions, then by extension secondary institutions and other establishments making their own tough decisions. I know the budget's under lock and key, but what can you tell me about the scope of that right now?
Well, what I want to remind people of is that we did make some decisions that perhaps weren't easy to make, and there were certainly consequences to them. But what we tried to do was to make decisions that we thought made sense in terms of putting us on a strong fiscal footing. And I think that as we move forward, that Albertans will be able to see that that's what happened. However, we also made decisions that as a government we knew we needed to make in order to improve the systems that were in place. And so those are sometimes difficult to make as well. But they weren't made only because we needed to deal with a revenue situation. They were also made because we thought there needed to be a very honest dialogue with a lot of stakeholders about how programs were working and how they could work better. And so what you're going to continue to see is a direction that allows us to see government doing things slightly differently. One of the things that previous governments have been accused of is when times are tough, you tighten the purse strings, and then when things get good, you loosen the purse strings. And it's something that Albertans don't want to see anymore. And so I have confidence that when people see what we table on March 6th, that what they're actually going to see is a consistent direction that's consistent with some of the work that we did last year and that we need to continue to do into the future.